So it was springtime, and I thought that I was going to have a nice, warm drive across Oklahoma to an elopement in Arkansas through on Route 66. And then I woke up to snow. Yeah, it'd been a long winter of snow. I like snow, I really do, but I was pretty tired of it. I was pretty tired of finding it everywhere, shooting in it, cold hands, but just have to do with what you got, right? So I kept driving and driving. But, you know, it's never that boring. There's always things to stop along the side of the road and make images. So I decided to do. On this trip, I had brought 2 cameras. I had my Leica M6 with Kodak Vision3 500T movie film loaded up, and then also my Canon R6 digital camera. And as I drove through the mountains of eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas, there was a lot of interesting things to see. A little bit of me felt like I was going Grainy Days style here with all of these abandoned buildings, but I also didn't trust the floor, so I just stood in the doorways to take pictures of them, because I did not want to go falling into the middle of nowhere. This is one of my more favorite places that I came across, this little Sam's Corner store spot. There's just a lot of little angles and little fun details to be found with these photos.
Slow down and listen for a heartbeat. With everything in motion, say a word, hold a hand. Life is not the sum of what we plan, but the in-between. Miracle of human life and the body and time that we occupy. It is all.
It snowed a lot. It just kept going. I was really impressed. It was fun to stop at this little eat, skate, game, pool, hall thing. It was cool to see. One thing you probably see on these photos here from the 500T is some weird coloration across the bottom of that. Yeah, I don't know what that is either. My best bet is that when I was developing this, is that I put in too hot water at the beginning, and then I turned the faucet on and it was hot, and then I regulated it, and so that first bit along the bottom of the tank got hit with that hot water and kind of got fried weird. But I don't know. I honestly have no idea. La da 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 la da 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 da. Tomorrow's still a mystery. Don't worry about what you wear or eat. Just stop and smell the roses. One thing that I was doing with digital is I set it to a square. Just because, since I hadn't brought my Mamiya 6, I felt like I was missing my square format life just a little bit. I was enjoying making digital square photos just as a different way to practice using that format alongside the more traditionally framed film photos. With everything in motion. And with that, I got to Arkansas and was able to pack in, have fun, and shoot the beautiful elopement and wedding that I had gone there to photograph. And yeah, it was snowing. Weddings in the snow are pretty awesome. Once the wedding was over, I started my trip back towards Oklahoma City to return home. And this turned out to be that warm, sunny day that I had been hoping for. It was a beautiful morning driving through the hills, and everywhere I go there was just soft light falling on the trees and a little bit of patches of snow that were left, and creating that really wonderful kind of orangey teal color combination that you can get at that kind of a day, or at that time of day.
See the beauty that is woven in every single moment.
One other thing about the Vision3 500T film that I was having issues with on this particular trip was just the color saturation in the exposures. I was shooting on my 7 Artisans 35mm f1.4 lens, and I had an 85B filter on top of it, so that should slow the film down to ISO 320. But all the time you look at these film photos, they're definitely just a little underexposed. So my best guess is that this is some pretty old film. I bought this off of eBay from Slovenia. It was a 100-foot or 90-foot end of a roll that got shipped here, so who knows where it was stored, who knows how old it is, and I think that just is kind of showing in here. Hindsight being what it is, I really should have been overexposing these photos a little bit more to burn in a little bit more information into the shadows. There was one photo that I took during the elopement where I really overexposed it on purpose because I really wanted a shallow depth of field, and that's one of the better colorizations, where these all just feel that little bit of underexposed, a little grainy, a little gritty kind of a setting. That said, it's a look, and if it's what you're looking for, it's definitely something that you can do differently. And this brought me to my favorite part of the whole trip. This was the Will Rogers Raceway that I found abandoned on the side of the road in Oklahoma.
I lie awake in bed and slept in weeks since 4 a.m. Keeping me, I ain't got no job, nothing I believe.
I'm not usually the kind of person who parks and goes to explore abandoned buildings. I don't know, there's something about the voyeurism of it that feels a little bit weird to me a lot of times, and I have a unholy fear that I'm gonna come across a dead body, which is highly unlikely, but it just is the thing that I'm always afraid of, so I don't really like looking into old places. But I was gonna be outside, and it was sunny, and it was beautiful, and there was just no way I wasn't gonna go take pictures walking around here.
Don't wanna let you down. Take a drive to clear my head, but no sense.
In my Googling since coming home, I can't tell exactly when the Will Rogers Raceway closed, but I think I found a YouTube video of them driving on this track in somewhere around 2005 to 2010, somewhere in that range. So looking at this, I'd believe that it was abandoned 10 years ago. That seems pretty reasonable. But it was definitely just really eerie and cool to see this place that used to be full of life and is now very, very overgrown. It's an interesting place to photograph.
I hope you're starting to see it's getting harder to dream. It's getting harder to be. Don't wanna let you down.
You'll see on most of the film photos here, they definitely do have a lot more coloration and a lot more information in the shadows. And I think it's just because it was such a sunny day, I definitely was exposing things brighter and was allowing for more light to come into the frame, and they look a lot better because of it. So it definitely leads me to want to make sure that I do my homework and do some tests on the roll of film before I start shooting it. So if I get a long roll, shoot a few frames, take a little bit of testing before starting to do the other 100 feet. But then also just remembering that, this is a film that probably likes light, and taking advantage of that can do a lot of good for you.
It's getting harder to be. Don't wanna let you down. Baby, It's getting hot.